Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations. Thanks for joining me today. We are going to take an in-detail look at a new bundle coming out in the Stampin' Up! September through December 2023 mini catalog, and it is called the Tricks and Treats Bundle. And as you can see, it is a bundle with a focus on Halloween. And here is the bundle, the stamp set. It contains some solid images and then some detail images for two-step stamping for the Frankenstein and the Dracula little characters. It has a haunted house, some graves, a little ghost, stars, bats, trick or treat for a sentiment, and EEK. Now these this stamp set does come with some dies, and the dies will cut out the house, the Frankenstein, and the Dracula. And then it has, the dies also have some just what I call standalone dies. So here they are, and they don't look like much there. So what I do, as always, is, oops, I'm sorry about that. Let me get you back in focus there. I stamped out my images right here. Made a little mistake here with the little ghost. But there are the images, 12 photopolymer stamps, so it's easy to do that two-step stamping. And then here are most of the dies. And I say most because I have two I'm going to show you in a different way. But here is the Frankenstein, the Dracula, and the haunted house. Now this is a label die, and I've used that right here on the little treat bag, trick or treat. And then a little freestanding ghost, two small tags, they're exactly the same. Candy corn, there's this piece and then these two pieces that you can put together to get this. And then there are dies that will make these bags. And that die, the die that makes the bag, is right here. And when you cut it out, you will get this. Now, it won't have the holes in it. We're going to talk about the holes soon. But you will need two of these to make the treat bag. Now, these holes can come from these two little dies right here. Let me get them off of the, here they are, right here. This one, now when you look at these and you see the size of the holes through the dies, that is not the size of the hole they cut. Look at the actual cutting edge. That's the size that the hole will be. This one seems to be really good for ribbon, whereas this one, either thin ribbon or twine or linen thread, something like that. But they will cut out the holes. And what I did, I've cut both of the pieces that I need to make the treat bag. I put them on one on top of the other, and this is Designer Series paper, so you can cut through two layers of it in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I put them down, and then I put my die on there. And then when I run them through at the same time, that's how I can be sure that these holes will match up from one side to the other. Now, something that I did just to add a little extra reinforcement back here was I took just a little strip of cardstock and I cut the holes out with it, one for each piece of my bag, so two of them. And on my blog I'll tell you what how long and how wide those pieces were because I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you take a peek right here, you'll see that piece of cardstock that I put in there. I just adhered it right to the bag just to give these handles a little more strength so they wouldn't pull through or tear the paper. So there's that little bag on this side. And these are actually from a suite of products called Them Bones, and they're glow in the dark. It's a little ghost, and there's bats. And you might be able to see a little bit of shine to them there, but they do actually glow in the dark. It's pretty cool. And then on the back, I've cut the ghost from some paper that, here's the ghost, the die right here, that glows in the dark. So now for that ghost, talking about that ghost, and then we'll go on back to the treat bag. When you cut him out, his mouth and his eyes come out. So I needed something black behind that. And just what I found out just by looking around, looking at my punches. See, here's the little ghost. So you can see through his eyes and his mouth. Well, if you have a 1/2 inch circle punch or a 3/4 inch circle punch, those will fit really well over his eyes and his mouth. You can just tape it to the back. And then, now if you want him like that, that's fine. But if you want to put the black behind there or any other color, that's what you can do. That'd be cool, the glow-in-the-dark paper. Just cut out a circle. So that's just a little trick for the ghost if you happen to have a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch circle punch. So back to these bags. As I said, I cut out 2. Laid them one on top of the other and put the die here to cut out the circles. And I told you about reinforcing, how to reinforce the bag so that the holes cut for the ribbon won't pull through or tear the bag. But now this bag has this little edging here. Sort of looks like a rickrack edging or a jagged edging. And that was created by another die in the set, and that's right here. And all you have to do to get this look, see, I've got it on this one right here. And all I had to do, I just, once again, my 2 pieces I need for my bag, put them together, put them on the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine right on the cutting pad. Line this right up with the edge, the very edge of the paper, ran it through, and there you go. And what I did find out, do put it from edge, and then it will go past the bag, but that's okay, because this little flap here, you want that to get cut too. Because the first one I made, I didn't have this go, I had it just right to this little flap, and what I found, this flap stuck up too much and I had to trim it back. So I found it was best to just put it on the edge right like that and cut. So I'm going to just move all this. Like I said, this was the dies, and then I showed you the dies to make the bag. Just move these out of the way. And we talked about the little glow-in-the-dark ghost. But here's one card I made using the haunted house. And then the little gravestones, some of which I cut out. And then I fussy cut and put them on some Stampin' Dimensional so they kind of stand out, look like they're one in front of the other. Did a little masking to get my moon on there. And there are the bats. And then on this one you can see I've used the stars for a background as well as the trick-or-treat greeting, and I've used that die that makes that nice little jagged end on our treat bag to trim around the matte layered there, just for a little extra added something. There's our little Frankensteins. And then here is Dracula. It's a little trick or treat. And this is from a set of dies in the annual catalog, and they are called the Nested Essential Dies. And that kind of looked to me like a little coffin maybe, but anyway, just thought he was kind of cute. And then I just put the bats around him. So there are those 3 cards, but I will show you how to put that treat bag together. But I also want to talk about the 2-step stamping with these guys, because obviously there's all kinds of ways that you can do Frankenstein and Dracula. So I'm going to show you. Let's see here. So these have like a solid stamp that will make their face. So whatever color you would want their face to be, such as right here I have Lemon Lime Twist, and here I have Fresh Freesia. You would just stamp that, and then there are dies, like right here, to stamp Frankenstein's detail, his hair, his bolts, which I think really should be in his neck maybe, but that's okay, and a little scar, and his face. And then this is all one piece, right here. It's all one piece. But for Dracula, his hair and his face are 2 separate pieces. So if you're just stamping with this, stamp the background, then stamp the detail, it's fine. If you want to die cut the images first and then stamp the detail, that works. But something that I do on occasion is I like to just stamp the detail and then just die cut it, because this is going to be my color, you know. So I wouldn't use these stamps, the solid stamps. What I would be using would be the details. There's Dracula's hair, and here's his face. The Frankenstein, super, super simple. You get your ink, ink up the stamp, and then stamp it. Then I'll get my little Stampin' Cut and Emboss Mini out here. And we'll just die cut that. Get my base plate, and then plate 2 of the plate 2s. We'll get the die. There he is. We'll put the die, line that up just right on there. I probably should get a little bit of washi tape. And we will just run him through. Oops, don't need that, do we? And there he is. Not too bad. Now, when it comes to Frankenstein, or not Frankenstein, I'm sorry, Dracula, he's a little bit different. So let's bring him back in here. So here's the die. And it's like, okay, so I need his, kind of got to get his hair on here and his okay, get his face on there. I need to turn it up this way. And I don't know. That just didn't work for me to then, you know, put the block on and stamp. So, what I did, did what I call, now I need to get my stamp back out. I call it double-decker stamping. And there's just not that many times I've ever had to do this. I think there was one time there was a Christmas tree that had a solid background like this, and then the pine needles and other detail were on a different stamp. And this is what I did. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I put my solid stamp down, and then I put his hair in place, and then I put his face where I want it. If I like it, then I just ink it up. He's going to be blue this time. I stamp it, just like you stamp any other thing, and there he is. That's my double-decker stamping. And then we'll just get the die for him. Maybe. I seem to be losing my stuff here. Here it is. And we'll get that mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back out. Which, in the catalog, there will be a little icon that says mini. It'll have a little picture of the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And if it has that little icon by it, you know that those dies will fit through this machine. So there, just run him through. There we go. And there he is. And for me, that was easier than trying to do it any other way. So I thought I would just share that with you. Take our die off. You can put this away now. And now we'll need to close this up. We will go through how to put that bag together. Absolutely not hard at all, but I will tell you, I learned something. Well, I just kind of made a mistake. Have to be careful because this is the flap that I meant to put on the inside, but it got on the outside, and the one that was to be on the outside got on the inside. So there is some adhesive here and here on these little tabs. So if I stick it down there for very long, it will stick to whatever I set it on. See? So yeah, so word of warning. I did this one the correct way. So let's put this one together. I already have it folded. So what I'm going to use possibly a combination of tear and tape and Stampin' Seal Plus. But I just find that on some of these tabs that are narrow, that for me, the tear and tape does the best job. If you can get the Stampin' Seal on there, fine. That's great. If you're patient, you can use your liquid glue. I'm not that patient to wait. I want to get it together like boom, boom, boom. So, on these two little tabs that I don't know, they're probably not quite a ½ inch wide. I'm going to put this tear and tape. Okay. Get my take your pick tool. Now the one thing I did not mention is when you are die cutting these holes, it's best if you can die cut them from the side you don't plan to use. Like, so it would be this side. Because I'm not sure you can see it that well on these, but it leaves an indentation. But on the back side, you can hardly tell. So if you can do it from the back side as opposed to the front side, that might be a better option. So I've torn the backing off the tearing tape. And this is the narrow flap. And now we're going to take the side of this box. And we're just going to put it right there. So, there's that. Now, one of these is going to be the outside, and one's going to be tucked inside. And I think we'll make it this one. And then we have these. So I will use, I remember, yeah. I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal Plus for this. And all I'm going to do is stick them under. Just like that. As you can see, we put all this on the right side. But now for this last flap, which will go right here, we can put that. There's actually some Stampin' Seal on that. But we can put a little bit more on the, wait a minute, that's not right. It goes on the outside. Oh, see, I started to do it again. Going to do it incorrectly again. Okay, that's why I put the Stampin' Seal on this one, because then that will go right over there. We need to take off our tearing tape right here, take off the backing. I'm just going to line that up. Get my bone folder, put that down through there. I got it stuck on the, oh my goodness, maybe I wasn't supposed to make this today. That's funny, I got it stuck on my Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay, that, you don't want to do that, but you get the idea. And then we just put that right over there, and there's our little bag. Let me see if I can have better luck with this one. Just fold it on the score lines. I'm not sure which one I like the best. If I like the one with the little ribbon handles, or if I like the one that's just open with the little jagged edge. Okay, so there's our score lines folded on that one. Can you tell it's been a while since I've been in my craft room? I've been processing and canning tomatoes. And I think we finally reached the end of that. There are plenty of tomatoes still out there, but running out of storage space for all the tomato products and about out of canning jars, so it's like time to stop. Okay, there's that. We'll put this right on here. Get these two together. There we go. Going to think about this for a minute here before I do this. Okay. Let's try this time. We'll just put the adhesive on the small tabs. I think that'll work better. And then I'll put adhesive on the inside. That's where I was going the last time, and then I got all confused. Okay, now we'll pull this off. That works much better. And then put that down, and now I can use the bone folder, go inside, kind of just burnish those seams a little bit to make sure the adhesive got down, and there we go. And now, as you saw on mine, I kind of just pinched them just to make more of a little bag. You don't have to do that, but if you want to, all you have to do, just go like this. There you go. It's like a little grocery bag. So don't do it this way. Do it this way. Okay, so let's bring back in those projects. There's that bag. And here's my little trick-or-treat bag. And then the card somehow managed to get way over on the other side of my table. There's the trick-or-treat with Dracula. Here's the one with Frankenstein. And then here's my little scene, the little haunted house in the graveyard. Now, the measurements and the items I use, supply list, all that kind of stuff for the cards and for these bags will be on my corresponding blog post, and the link to that blog post can be found in the description of this video. Thank you for joining me today, and until next time, stamp happy.